From the pages of WWF Superstars 3, we are transported into the heart of 1988, where heroes rise, villains scheme, and the World Wrestling Federation is at its most theatrical, explosive, and unforgettable. This special edition, following the tradition of the original Superstars volumes, dives deep into the legends and battles defining an era when Hulkamania and Macho Madness collided in unity, and danger lurked behind every megaphone, chain, and steel chair. The issue begins with the man himself, Hulk Hogan, portrayed not only as a former champion but as an eternal icon, undaunted even in defeat. After controversially losing the WWF title to Andre the Giant on February 5th, Hogan rises higher than ever, facing threats from King Haku, the Big Boss Man, and Bad News Brown, all while standing shoulder to shoulder with his brother in arms, Macho Man Randy Savage. The pages pulse with energy as Hogan rips his shirt, stares down his foes, and inspires millions with his resilience and power. The Hulkster, we're told, is not chasing gold, he's chasing glory. And glory is what Randy Savage now wears around his waist. Crowned WWF champion at WrestleMania 4, Savage's journey is laid out match by match, from Butch Reed to Greg Valentine to One Man Gang, and finally the $1 Million Man, who had the help of Andre the Giant at ringside. Savage, with Elizabeth at his side and Hogan supporting him, triumphs. What followed was the legendary bond between Macho Madness and Hulkamania, culminating in their SummerSlam showdown against Andre and the $1 Million Man. But being champion brings challengers. Andre still looms, and Bad News Brown is circling, fists ready. The issue turns then to the managers, the manipulators behind the madness. Jimmy Mouth of the South. Hart is profiled as an endless yapper with a weaponized megaphone. Once managing the Hart Foundation, he now backs the likes of the Honky Tonk Man and Dangerous Danny Davis. His loudmouth antics are rivaled only by his violent interference. Speaking of Honky Tonk, his delusion knows no bounds. Proclaiming himself the king of rock and roll, he smashes guitars, belts, insults, and fears one man above all, Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Then there's Bobby the Brain Heenan, perhaps the most cunning mind in wrestling. His stable, Andre the Giant, King Haku, Rick Rude, and Hercules, combines brute force and arrogance. Heenan's genius is lauded, but his obsession with capturing the WWF title grows darker by the day. Hercules, his powerful disciple, uses chains and backbreakers to destroy opponents, but it was in a post-match attack on the Ultimate Warrior where Hercules nearly went too far, only to be overpowered by Warrior's fury. Speaking of Andre, the Giant is depicted as both legend and menace. Though his title reign lasted mere seconds, after beating Hogan and handing the belt to the $1 Million Man, he remains a towering threat, aligning once again with Heenan and the $1 Million Man. Slick, the Doctor of Style, manages brutality in the form of the one-man gang, the Big Boss Man, and the Bolsheviks. He's all flash and no substance, but his wrestlers make up for it with fists and fury. One-man gang is a mohawked, tattooed wrecking machine. Big Boss Man is a corrections officer turned punisher, merciless with his nightstick. And then we meet Mr. Fuji, cold and ruthless, trainer of Demolition, Axe, and Smash, now tag team champions. Demolition's reign is marked by destruction, but challengers like the Powers of Pain are ready to make war. Meanwhile, the Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, bring high-flying energy and youthful speed to the ring, contrasting the brutality of other teams. Elsewhere, Jake the Snake Roberts continues his war against Rick Rude, sparked when Rude tried to kiss Jake's wife. Jake's cold intensity and the threat of Damien the Python keep fans on edge. Elizabeth, manager of Randy Savage, is celebrated for her grace and courage, especially after being assaulted by the Honky Tonk Man. She is both beauty and backbone in a violent world. Brutus Beefcake sharpens his shears, taking locks from anyone who wrongs him. Coco Beware with his macaw Frankie dazzles with drop kicks and music. The British Bulldogs alongside Matilda the Dog deliver scientific wrestling and pure British pride. George the Animal Steel is chaos personified, now joined by his doll Mine, a bizarre companion that mirrors his madness. The fabulous Rougeaus showboat and cheap shot their way into the crowd's scorn. The Junkyard Dog and Hacksaw Jim Duggan uphold justice with fists and chains and 2x4s. Don Morocco, trained by superstar Billy Graham, vows revenge on Valentine for injuring his mentor. Ron Bass uses his whip Miss Betsy to wreak havoc. Ultimate Warrior barrels through everyone in sight, having taken the Intercontinental title at SummerSlam '88. The Hart Foundation, now without Jimmy Hart, is reborn. Bret is the technician, Neidhart the power. The Bolsheviks, managed by Slick, attempt Soviet domination but run into walls like the Young Stallions, an up-and-coming tag team with serious fire. Rick Rude stirs trouble with his rude awakenings, one of which sparked his legendary feud with Jake Roberts. Dino Bravo waves an anti-American flag alongside Frenchie Martin, but faces backlash from Ken Patera and fans alike. Greg the Hammer Valentine, master of the figure four, continues to injure and intimidate. Frenchie Martin flaunts disdain for the USA in monocle and smirk. The $1 Million Man, ever the schemer, is still trying to buy respect, buy titles, buy legacy, only to be thwarted time and again by Hogan, Savage, and now even Virgil's growing doubt. Sensational Sherry reigns over the women's division, yet Rockin' Robin is waiting to rise. King Haku, newly crowned after Harley Race's injury, now leads Heenan's dynasty and wants Hogan dethroned. The powers of Pain, Warlord and Barbarian, prepare for all-out war with Demolition. And finally, we revisit superstar Billy Graham, who despite injury remains in the hearts of fans and the mind of Morocco. This issue closes with the $1 Million Man, Andre, and Virgil standing tall in photos. But if history tells us anything, standing tall today means nothing tomorrow in the World Wrestling Federation. If this tour through piledrivers and promos, power slams and pageantry made your heart beat a little faster, then do what the legends would want. Like, share, and subscribe. Because every day, we bring you another relic of the golden age of wrestling. From the pages.